It's the BMW Championship week. Welcome everyone to the cut line. We've got some outright winners. We've got head-to-head matchups, Draftkings, Darlings, and more. Welcome everyone to the cut line. I'm your host, Andy Lang, being joined as always by my fellow golf betting partner, Jan. Boy, did Scheffler set the tone last week or what? Yikes.
He just kicked the absolute shit out of those guys, didn't he? He's an absolute joy when he's playing like that, man.
He does elevate to that next level. When he's dialed in, you're like, okay, this is an all-time player. And yeah, that wasn't even fair. So we're going to break down the course that we haven't played at in a long time. We're going to go over a lot of stats, see if we can figure out some winners. But first, we got to start with Tails from the courtesy tent, the worst shots of the week. Jordan Spieth finally makes his triumphant return to Tails from the courtesy tent. I mean, that's a great shot tracer, and then we finally get to where the ball is. And I mean, anytime you can land it in the portalettes, this just it's got to make the segment. So I wonder, Jordan Spieth has to lead the tour in drops from portable toilets. Like it feels like he's there once or twice a year.
He's always moving a bin out the way or behind a cubicle of some sort. Yeah.
His driver's on the ground taking a club length. Yep. So, and then Keith Mitchell. I feel like these guys. What we don't see here is he hit it in the water right after this, so he has to stand in the water and he has to hit it. And I don't understand why these guys don't realize the ball comes flying out to the left. Like you have to aim it on basically to the other side of the green. I've seen multiple golfers, men and women, do this. Like you have to aim so far to the right, and it doesn't work. So Keith Mitchell, which was too bad because he was fighting to make the top ones. This is a big deal. This is a big deal, and he promptly hits it in the water. So Keith Mitchell and Jordan Spieth, that is your Tales from the courtesy tent. All right. Fairly new course this week, Bellerive Country Club. Top 50 players. I've got the yardage about 7,448, but they're playing it at a par 70. So there's going to be some longer holes, especially on the par fours. There's water, actually quite a bit of water, which surprised me when I was looking at this. So there are going to be guys that plunk it in the water. There's some holes with, some bends, and there's some holes with some, kind of thin areas to land the ball. But really, I just think this is I do think longer players are going to be rewarded here on a couple of these holes. So you got to look for distance off the tee in this one. Obviously, your iron play has to be on there. But if you're not driving the ball long enough, and if you're not driving the ball straight enough, your irons are just, you're going to put yourself in bad position. So I'm looking at the drivers this week. And then, of course, putting. But since we haven't seen this course in a long time, I believe 2018, not really sure what we can make of the greens. What was your take when looking up this course?
It's a very straightforward course for me, this one. Firstly, off the tee, I am all in on bombers. There's a few drivable greens, and these fairways are wide, and they are hittable. There is a rough and miss fairway penalty, but I don't think any of these elite guys have repeated big misses this week, so I don't really think it's a factor. And then approach is the next big thing for me. These guys have to go and hit the greens on second shots and just go all-out attack mode. The greens are there to be attacked on most holes, and you will need plenty of birdie opportunities to contend here. And then around the green, if around the green play comes in for the guys you take this week, you're in a bad spot. You have to avoid these bunkers, and they are avoidable because the greens are hittable. I'm not looking at around the green here. And then for putting, another week of flat, manageable greens, I think. Nothing really to be said here. I don't think this is a test on the greens at all. Like you say, water on 11 holes, 76 bunkers. The hazards are there in theory, but I just don't really see it in practice. For me, last week was more of a course management and ball striking course. This course you can it's just a case of whether you can just make that one shot available to you or not. It's just more fundamental rather than being tactical and thinking 2 shots ahead and purposefully avoiding the hazards. So overall, the ideal profile for me is distance off the tee and overall power and its approach play. The game plan I like most is just bomb it down there and go and hit the greens. For me, this is just glorified point and click stuff. I like this course more than last week. It's much better visual watch, even if the golf being played shouldn't actually be any better. It's another stack field, money to be made. Let's have a week.
Let's go to total strokes gained. And for me, I'm not looking at 3 months. I don't care about 6 months. I really just care about how you're playing recently. So, to no surprise, last 30 days, you got Scheffler, Burns, Fleetwood, Schauffele, Matsuyama. This is the big one. Noren, Alex Noren popping up there. Really, really interesting. Ahead of Ludwig Aubert. Amazing. Adam Scott is in there. Siwoo, Patrick Cantlay. But again, I go over here and I don't know what I can do with Tommy Fleetwood this week. Do you trust him? Do you not? He's been playing really good. Same with Matsuyama. Same with Noren. These guys that are not that long off the tee. Anything jump out to you?
It's just all distance off the tee for me. It really is that simple. I want a Xander, a Minwoo, a Michael Brennan, a Nikolai Hoggard. I mean, guys like Fleetwood and the Kims are massive stayaways for me here.
All right. Well, let's go to one and dones. We did use our Fleetwood last week. He did good for us. That was a pretty good one. It's really, do you want to use your Scheffler this week or next week? I think is it. I'm gonna roll the dice here, man. I'm not gonna go with Scheffler. I'm gonna go with Sam Burns, who just has all the upside in the world. It feels like he's the guy that's competing right now that could challenge Scheffler, and he's a guy that's not afraid to play against Scheffler in a group. These guys are buddies. So finished third last week. You go back a few weeks, he finished third there. He's got a slew of top 5 finishes in the last 11 weeks. For what it's worth, he has played good at this event. I know it's a different course, but 4th and 2nd the last couple years. And as we know, his putter can get red hot. He is very long off the tee and 2nd in the field in total strokes gained putting in the last, or maybe 3rd behind Adam Scott. But if I'm looking for a guy who can take on Scheffler, there's a lot of guys I can rule out, but Sam Burns at his best, I think he can hang with Scheffler. Is he going to do it? I don't know. Am I willing to bet against it in a head-to-head? Probably not, but Burns is going to be my one and done. Who'd you pick?
Oh, I'm going to take Xander Schauffele this week. He just has the perfect profile for this one. He's going to be long and find fairways, and then you just have layup approach shots with one of the best iron players on tour. He's one that you can trust to take his birdie opportunities on the greens too. 7th last week, 2nd at the Rocket, and 18th at the Open in his last 3 events, where in all 3 of those, he's hit his irons and driver really, really well. Not many playing better than Xander right now. And if it's point and click golf, I want Xander. It's now 7 top 10 finishes for Xander in 2026, and I can easily see another one coming here. He's been quietly elite all year, and this is a dumb thing to say about someone who's 4th in the outright betting, but I think he might just be flying under the radar given what Scottie did last week. I mean, clearly Scottie is the one you want to take this week, but I think you have to hold him back for next week. So it is Xander Schauffele for me here.
Yeah, with a one and done, I think a lot of people are going to do that. So if you're like behind them, is everyone pick Scheffler and then you're just tying with everybody else? So I don't know. We'll see. So, all right, players that can trip you up. This one gets tough. We're down to about 50 players, but to me, there's a clear cut number one. What in the world was that from Rory McIlroy last week? He said he was thinking about not playing until the last tournament. What? I wonder if the PGA got in his ear. I was like, no. Get your ass out there. He finished 66 out of 69 golfers. And then he openly says, "Oh, I didn't have enough reps practicing." Well, that sounds great. And he got worse as the tournament went on. Yet he's the 2nd betting favorite, and guarantee the books aren't going to give us good matchups. Guarantee we're not going to get Schauffele versus Rory. Guarantee we're not going to get Burns versus Rory. So, yeah, I just putting him as the 2nd favorite after what he's done. I mean, the guy's finished 66 and 40th. So, yeah, complete pass for me. little worried about Cameron Young, 39th and 61st the last 2 weeks. His putting has really let him down, minus 0.41 the last 30 days. Only 2 top 25 finishes the last 6 tournaments. He is a bomber. He's probably going to do well this week, but I just can't get over those putting numbers. And when I'm trying to figure out who am I worried about this week, that's a guy that I think I could find a few other options. All right, here's going to be the stunner. I have Hideki Matsuyama as my next player to trip you up. You can't. We've made money on him. He's been a DraftKings legend. 4 of his 5 best finishes this year are in the last 5 weeks. What worries me is how much golf he's played. He's played 5 in a row. That's a lot of golf for him. He has chronic neck problems. On top of that, he is not very long off the tee. And he is a guy, when it's not going well, he will give up. Maybe the accuracy just is too much, and maybe the length he can overcome. But I've watched this guy play for years and years and years. This smells like a letdown spot for Matsuyama. As much as I want to bet on him or do something with him, I am going to be staying away. So I got Rory McIlroy, Cameron Young, and Hideki Matsuyama as players that can trip you up. All right, top 10 or missed cut. Who do you got?
I am going to do something slightly different here. I'm going to give you 2 names at the top of the board that I think have every chance of doing nothing. Now, clearly, these are 2 of the best players in the world. If they turn up at any event, they can win it. So there's your argument for the top 10 part for these 2 guys. Firstly, Tommy Fleetwood. Total lack of length is a major concern. I think he's really going to struggle to get birdies consistently, purely relying on his elite irons. Yes, he's done that his entire career, but it only takes 1 or 2 bad holes from him, and he loses 4 or 5 holes on the rest of the field. We took him for 1 and done last week. He's been elite all year. I just don't love how this track plays out for him. And then my second one was Rory McIlroy. On paper, he's the perfect player for this week. He has length, he has power. He's one of the classiest players in the world when he's playing his game. But that 66th last week, my God, he was terrible. I think he might just phone in the rest of the year. It doesn't seem like he really wants to be here, and he's mentally checked out already. It has been a successful year for Rory because he won his major. He doesn't need this. And I think if last week's anything to go by, he knows that he doesn't need this either. If these 2 guys turn up, they finish top 5, top 10 comfortably. But I think the biggest point of all this, I would just be very wary that neither of these guys need this week anyway. They're both through to the final week regardless, and they can just use this as prep week. Fleetwood and Rory, just be careful if you're adding them to your card this week.
Yeah, that's a good point about Fleetwood. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he's got his eyes towards. I mean, you want to be playing good going into next week, but yeah, if it doesn't go well, not that big of a deal. So. I went with Jake Knapp. This guy, 7th miscut, 13th the last 3 tournaments. Who knows what you're going to get from this guy? I don't know if he's healthy. I don't know if he's not healthy. But Jake Knapp, again, the numbers are all over the board. It's a shame he had that injury because he was really shaping up for an all-time season for him. So Jake Knapp, I have no idea. I have no idea if this guy's going to be in the final group on Sunday, or if he's going to be, or if he's going to be in the clubhouse before the leader has teed off on Sunday. So nothing would surprise me. All right, head-to-head matchup. What'd you find?
Yeah, just the one for me this week, and you'll all think I've gone mad. I'm going to take Cam Young over the pride of Yorkshire and my close personal friend Matthew Thomas Fitzpatrick. And yes, I feel sick even talking about this. It just all comes down to length here. We all know how fantastic Fitz has been this year, comfortably a top 5 player in 2026. But he just so happens to be in a matchup with another top 5 player at a course that suits the other guy heavily. Same thing with a lot of these power hitters. There's drivable par 4s. Fitz just isn't going to have the same scoring opportunities as Cam Young at this track. And I just think Fitz is going to have to be perfect with his iron play all week to win this matchup, and I just don't see it. Yes, I think both guys hit top 20, but it's very fine margins for matchups, so be careful with that this week. I just love this assignment for Cam Young. The last 2 weeks haven't been good, but it was only a month ago he came second at the Open. He gets to use all of his length and attack with a big stick, and that's just what he does best. I think if you have to fade a bottom 10 distance guy with a top 10 distance guy at this track, I think you've got to take it. And as much as I hate to say it, take the nameplates off of these guys, and I think this is the best head-to-head matchup on the board. Winning money has no bias. Taking my head over my heart here. Give me Cam Young over the love of my life this week.
All right. Well, I teased you all. I said they're not going to give us Rory McIlroy versus somebody. I found Sam Burns at plus money over Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
Plus 105. We've gone over Sam Burns. We got over Rory McIlroy. So yes, there is a matchup out there. So I don't need to say anymore. We're out on Rory McIlroy, and I'm in on Sam Burns this week. So the plus money, no chance that's plus money at the start of the tournament. Those that are following golf still at this point of year know what's going on with Rory McIlroy. So my guess is Burns will be bet on. So all right, we move on to top finishers. I only have one. Did you one or two for you this week?
I got two this week.
Okay, I'll let you go first.
Okay, my first one, I will take Minwoo Lee, top 20, including the ties at minus 105. I've had a bit of an interesting year with Minwoo. I famously used him for one and done at the Masters where he missed the cut, and I'm still emotionally scarred from that week. I came into this year thinking he was going to have the year that Gotter has had, and that he was going to be the one to have that big step up into the second tier of guys. But he has just been so volatile, 3 missed cuts and 4 other finishes outside the top 50. But at times he has looked absolutely elite, and everything I know that he is. Second place finishes at the Scottish Open and Pebble Beach. He came third at the Houston Open, and his 6th at the Arnold Palmer and his 18th at the PGA were pretty outstanding showings. He can be one of the best players in the world when he turns up. And I think he turns up this week. He gets to play his game here. He gets to bomb it off the tee and use his classy irons, the 2 best weapons he has. I just really like this track for him. And then it just comes down to pricing. I'm stunned you can get nearly even money on Minwoo just to play his game. There are a few minus 150s, minus 140s out there, which I think are much more accurate. So I have to take the value here. Don't be surprised if Minwoo Lee wins this, but top 20 feels like a very solid bet here.
All right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I talked about, are we just overthinking this with Scottie Scheffler top 5? It's minus 136. Who's playing better than this guy? This is a guy that doesn't need he could hit one shot off the tee and walk off the course, but that's just not who he is. And this is a guy that he wants to go into next week with momentum. He has obviously the weird swing and everything, but unlike guys that are smaller than him, he just doesn't put the wear and tear on his body. He's fine over 4 rounds. He doesn't have any injuries to worry about. And imagine winning all 3 tournaments.
I know.
He's got one.
Insane. Yeah.
He's got one. This course sets up good for him. So I actually think Scottie Scheffler and company just kind of go in there and ho-hum it around, and don't be surprised if there's another one. Because again, how many guys can you say you think can actually compete with him if he's on his game? We just went down the list. I mean, there's just not too many guys that you would say, oh, I trust him this week. So yeah, I just go back to Scheffler top 5. So, all right, what's your second one?
I am going to be taking Nikolai, don't call me Rasmus Højgaard, at top 20, including the ties, plus 125. Firstly, I think Nikolai's set for a very big 2027. He is still only 25 and has a lot of improvement still to come. And for this assignment, he's another one with big length off the tee and then very consistent iron play. His lows have been even worse than Minwoo's. Like, Nikolai has played some tragic stuff this year, but I just can't get away from how naturally talented he is and how well this course will suit his game. He came 34th last week where he didn't get to use any of his length off the tee. I'm looking at these drivable par 4s with Nikolai Højgaard and thinking this is going to suit him to perfection. He's had 4 top 6 finishes this year. There have been some real flashes of the elite stuff at times, and we are talking about a Ryder Cupper here. He is classy when he's playing well, and Nikolai just gets to do what he does best here and just attack with every single shot. Now, interestingly, he is 33rd in the FedEx standings. He needs a good week. He really needs a good week to go into the final one. He's only had 1 top 20 since May, so you have to take a bit on trust. But the way this course sets up for him and the price just make Nikolai Højgaard too good to turn down for me this week.
All right, we're going to move on to outright winners. While we're doing that, please hit the like button. Drop us a comment. Tell us who you like. I love reading the comments and seeing who you guys are betting on. We have a lot of specials that are up at Wager Talk. Done well the last couple of weeks in golf here on the website. Hideki getting home for us in the top 20 was a nice win. So we really hope to finish the season strong. A lot of good specials. My particular favorite is the buy 3 days, get 3 free. You invest in that, you're going to get all of our plays pretty much through the weekend. We're going to have a 5% UFC best bet that comes out as soon as props are available on all the books. If you're watching this on Tuesday and it's still $5 Tuesday, we've got multiple plays, one in cricket. Jan's on an 8-1 run in cricket plays. MLB has been running really good, 23-10 running that. We got a 4% MLB best bet that is up, and we got Contender Series that is going on Tuesday night as well. If you're looking for something a little bit more long-term, we've got you covered for the rest of the year at a discount. That is over at my page at wt.buzz/AL. Football's right around the corner. We've got college football, NFL, as well as all the other sports. So we don't run these discounts a whole lot. So if you're thinking about doing something long-term, now is the absolute best time of year to do that before the fall sports get started. All right, let's go to outright winners. I'll give you a long shot. This guy was an incredible DraftKings darling last week. Sung J M at 69-1. Listen, he's playing his best golf of the year, 15th, 14th, and 5th the last 3 weeks. The last 30 days, he's 11th in total strokes gained. Wow. in his field. I would take him head to head. A lot of guys priced way above him. So, again, when we talk about outright winners, we say long shots. Take a look at the top 40 market, top 20 markets, top 10. Sung Jae was a cash cow last week, no matter how you played him outside the outright winner. So 69-1. Yeah, I think it's worth a little sprinkle. Who's your first?
My first one is my long shot is Michael Brennan at 60-1. One of the longest players in this field. He's one that likes to attack with his irons too. I really think he's going to have more opportunities to score than most, and he's a very solid putter, so I think he can easily find his way into a top 20 finish here. He won the Wyndham. He came 6th in the Charles Schwab. Now, he doesn't really have a lot of top finishes, but when he brings it all together, he can go and contend, and I don't see why he doesn't bring it all together here. His downfall is around the green, and I just don't see that as a big player this week. For a guy to tick as many boxes as he does at this price, I think Brennan has to be played. I think he's all value at 60-1.
I can't disagree with that one. I had a couple on my list. I really liked Siwoo at 27-1. He's just not that long off the tee. And when we talk about this guy's appeared in the top 10 or missed cut, and this course may fit his profile. Chris Gotterup at 24-1. His Achilles heel is putting. This is a course, though, that they haven't played in a while, so I don't know how he's going to putt. I just know he's really long off the tee. His approach is really good. Not too worried about his around the green game not being on point. But the guy gets a hot putter. He's going to put himself in position to make putts. So Gotterup at 24-1 was who I brought up. What's your second?
My second one is Chris Gotterup.
Hey,
talk about ticking all boxes. I think Gotterup just does that with authority. He has big length. He has classy attacking irons, can score at will. He gets to attack every single hole on this course. He has everything you want. And he's been a top 10 player all year. The wins at the John Deere, the Sony, the Phoenix. He's had 10 top 20s this year, which is just silly. Like you say, he does have some putting concerns at times, but I just don't see it being a factor on these greens. I just think this is the perfect assignment for Chris Gotterup, and I would say his top 20 is the best bet on the board, and I think it needs to be on everyone's card this week.
Love it. Yeah, it is weird. When you look at putting stats on these courses that they just don't play that often, I kind of throw them out the window. Maybe he just has
I think you have to. There's just no sample size, man. You have to.
Yeah. Hey, listen, he could suck on the green like always.
Yeah.
But at 24-1, I mean, yeah. All right. We move to DraftKings Darlings. A weird week. I was basically right on the money line in a big tournament. So depending on what tournament or head-to-head you were on, I don't know if you made money or not. So we'll start with Alex Smalley at 6,700. He's been 7th and 24th the last 2 weeks, 18 in the field in total strokes gained the last 30 days. And again, you got to remember, these guys get all 4 rounds. So when you're looking at DraftKings Darlings, just get some guys that have been playing steady recently. Just don't finish last. don't finish DFL. We showed you the total strokes gained. Alex Noren's only 6,900. He is there's only 2 golfers in this field that have finished top 10 the last 2 weeks. That is Matsuyama and Alex Noren. He is 6th in the field in total strokes gained the last 30 days. We are sleeping on Alex Noren in the DFS world at 6,900. And then Fowler was pretty good for us last week, so I'll go back to him. 34th, which is fine at this price. He was 8th before that, 18th before that. He's 16th in the field, total strokes gained last 30 days. He's not super long off the tee, but he's pretty steady. Moment's not going to be too big for him, so I'll go Fowler. So we got Smalley, Noren, and Fowler. And as always, my free article is on the news page at wagertalk.com. Just go to wagertalk.com, click on the news page, and you'll see all of our free articles. That's going to have my full lineup for this week in it. It's also going to have some articles for any auto racing that we have, UFC, Contender Series. And before we go, Jan, here, LIV, is this officially it? This may be it. They canceled the last.
Think so. Yeah,
they canceled the last tournament. They're playing in my backyard. I'm not going. I went last year and it was awful. They canceled all the concerts, and they just said whoever wins this week, you're the season championship. And by all accounts, John Rahm is moving to DP World Tour after the rules that they just passed. I don't see how that league gets any financial support from sponsors without John Rahm. Waco Neiman can only carry you so far.
Exactly. It just needs so much financial support at this point, and it's just impossible to get that many big sponsors on board. What's in it for a sponsor? Why would you not get involved in the DP Tour over LIV at this point?
Absolutely, 100%. Follow Rahm, track his journey to try and make it back to the PGA Tour. So there was also an article that came out that said a lot of the golfers haven't been paid after the last tournament. So not making payroll is never a good sign. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We're going to be back next week for the final tournament of the year. Appreciate you guys that have been with us every week. Again, like button, drop a comment below, and if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit the bell. That way you get notified whenever these shows go live. Appreciate you guys watching. Good luck on your bets. We'll see everyone next week for the championship. Good luck and take care.